is first before we keep preaching to everybody else what we would have did in the 50s and 60s. That's all I'm saying.
And that's what I meant earlier about, like, people know that there's a different set of rules. You try to pull that stuff on other people. If you try something like that on, let's just say, if Uma Thurman shooting a video in your hood, in your block, and she's shooting a movie, you're not going to store her because she got lawyers that can hem you up for like the next 30 years. And you know that. So you're not going to even try that stuff. But you'll do that to somebody coming through trying to rap or something like that. You know what I mean? We just do that.
That's true.
I wish it wasn't true.
I mean, you know, there's not a lot of punishment for doing it to your own people.
Right.
As a matter of fact, there's almost a reward. There's almost a reward for a lot of times for, like, we talked about this in the last show, like for being veto, you know, like, listen, you sell it to your own people, don't sell it to nobody else. Right.
I turned on TikTok when I dropped you off, Chris, just to check something, bro. The first video was one black woman fighting another black woman because the weave thing that she bought was not what she wanted and did not like the style. And she tried to dog walk this girl. What I'm saying is, if we got that type of smoke and heat for each other, but you letting grown women call little black boys, nigga in front of you, I don't understand it. It's not computing for me. It's not making sense. It's like
let's just stick with this one part though. Is I don't think that just because it's happened on one playground in Rochester, Minnesota, that black folks are walking around letting this happen like that all the time, right? Like I would like to believe that if you wanted to go find some other videos, there's some other stuff happening, like some people catching an ass whooping. I bet you could go find those ass whooping videos, right? Like we just won't see them as much because they're not gonna make the news. And they're not going to make the news because the people who perpetrate them aren't the ones going out there. Like this one we know about because the dude himself put it out on his social media and tried to make a deal out of it, right? Whatever, right? You know, call a celeb. But I will say this because this came up when I was listening to y'all earlier, right? I feel like and Charles, you and I said this earlier today. I feel like your social media feeds you what is supposed to be for you. So if a lot of these things are showing up in your feed, I feel like there's you shouldn't ask the answer of why these things are happening.
I like hip hop, Chris. I
actually like, because you know I'm doing a lot of photography now. My feed is full of photography stuff, like full end to end on Leica cameras and Canon cameras and the latest blah blah. You know I'm also into tech. I actually got so much stuff in my feed right now about the Google launch. The new Google 10 Pixel, blah, blah, blah. I can't get rid of them. I got so much of that going on right now and whatever.
But you know what, though, man? I will say this. I agree with you to a point. But look, man, I'm especially because this happened to me more times than I can count. You know, I love journalism. I love books. I love movies. That stuff shows up. And you can be looking through that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you'll see a man and a woman going at it. I mean, like, bam, 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 bam. I didn't sign up for that, but there it is. I don't want to see y'all going to Times Square. But
Charles knows this. I got more than one account. I got more than one.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I can guarantee you that there's one of my Google accounts that if I open it up right now, it'll have all World Star stuff in it.
Yeah,
you know that's what I need. I need a burner. I need a burner account. That's what
it's all hood. It's all hood fight.
I'm just saying I don't be following OnlyFans chicks, but then it'll show up in your feed all of a sudden out of nowhere and stuff. I didn't ask for this. I'm looking for some.
But see, it's predicting where you're going to go. Right,
is it the Matrix?
It's predicting.
It don't just count what you click on. It count where you stop at. It's tracking your eyes. Like, oh, okay.
You know what?
Them yams is yamming. Okay,
this is how I know it's good. If I'm,
I'll admit to look, I'll admit to looking, but I ain't gonna go look for it.
Yeah, it knows ahead of time what you're intending to do.
Oh man. Well, as we close this one out, this was your topic, Torn. What do you want us to? How you want to close this one out, man? What's the takeaway, bro?
No, we just gotta make people. We just gotta make people respect each other again, and we gotta make people respect black people again by any means necessary. And I take that what you will. I'm just saying, you know, some of the stuff that we let fly don't need to be flying the way it's going.
Man, I appreciate that. And before we go to you, Chris, we did it for Torn. Chris, what are some things that you got that you're working on, where they can find you, or any special projects? Let the folks know, and then we'll go into our final topic of the night.
Well, people can always go to citizen.substack.com. That's my Substack. If there's anything new, whatever that I'm writing or thinking about, I usually put it there first. My Facebook and all my socials, you can find me at Citizen Stewart. And in all those places, it's the same thing. What you're probably seeing more recently now is a lot more reflective photography and micro essays that I'm writing just about a daily topic type of thing. But you also go to edpost.com. You'll find a lot of the stuff that I do there, whatever.
Nice.
I'm thinking a lot. If you ask me what I'm thinking about a lot right now, I'm thinking a lot. I'm joking with y'all about this stupid thing, but it's only because I have a solution for it, which is right now, I think we're at the apex of the ability to leverage the information society that we've been living in forever. There's a lot of information in the world. There's a lot of databases, libraries, accessible courses and free courses. You can take Harvard classes at night for free. You can take MIT classes in the morning for free. There's all kinds of access. It's the most access we ever had, and it's disjointed. It's all over the place. So I feel like Kanye a little bit when Kanye said that, slavery is a choice. And I thought that was stupid. It really was. And it's still stupid today. But stupid is a choice. Stupid is like a stupid choice. Stupid is it's not a permanent condition. That's why I don't think anybody should be ashamed of it. If you're stupid, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. It's like diabetes. You should just cure it. You should do something with it. And the amount of free information in the world, like it's an open world information. Now, I think what smart people got to do is they got to make that wide amount of crazy accessible information easy to get to, right? We don't have like a one user interface. Someplace we could go and just ask you a big question like, are you stupid? Put in your details here and let's figure it out. Let's give you a test and we'll tell you where and how you're stupid, and then we'll pull all the resources in. We don't have that yet, but we're getting there, and AI is going to do that for us. We need some Negro AI is what we need.
Negro AI.
What's interesting? Hearing you talk reminds me of that scene. I don't remember the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Absolutely, it's a great movie.
God, that was a horrible movie. I mean, good, but terrible in the end. Oof.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Morgan Freeman goes to the library, right, and he's tight with all the security guards there. They're surrounded by all these books with a wealth of information. It looks like they're sitting in the Library of Alexandria. You know what they're doing? Sitting at a table playing Tom. not one book open on the table.
I mean,
see how stupid burns in your brain.
But that's how I feel about phones. Phones. These phones are magic devices that got more information in them than Martin Luther King, Aristotle, Socrates, anybody that you admire for being smart. You got more access in your hands, and if you just choose to use Snapchat, then that's a choice.
And what do we do?
What do we
do? What do we do with him? What's going on with Drake right now? That's what we do.
Right. And again,
you know what someone said, I didn't know that this was true, but someone said that the technology that's in that phone in your hand is more technology than they had to get to the moon. And that messes me up because I'm like, what?
Crazy, right?
What? And
That's
I'm up
crazy.
in here scrolling through like Target delivery service. Like, what?
That's crazy.
What are we doing?
And look, man, look, people need to have releases. They need to be able to, have their escapism or whatever. I'm not saying don't have your fun, but what I'm saying is you got access to more. You got access to more information now than ever in the history of this planet. Ever. One of the poorest kids in America got more knowledge and information at their fingertips than kings and queens that held over people for millennia. So,
well, and I'm glad you making a point again, though, because in a lot of places in this world, with that access in economies that aren't as good as ours, people are working the hell out of that access. Right?
Absolutely.
You have kids and young people.
For some people, it's a family computer.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And they're making things out of it, whatever. But here, stupid's a choice in America. You could be. It's a luxury. It's a luxury. It's a delicacy.
Chris, I need the stupid article by next week, brother.
I did two already. You wouldn't like them.
I got you.
I'd like to read them, to be honest with you.
You know what? I just want to say to y'all, like, I'm just like, I'm sitting in there in my little, front office, whatever. The front door opens, and like 5 kids, all my son's friend, come through the door, whatnot. Why they all look alike? Why they all like it's like when we used to have cross colors back in the day, there was a way to wear cross colors differently. Like they were all,
the overalls, one thing would be off. Somebody have
I could pull up the pictures right now, and I had the best curl out of everybody, whatnot. Now they walk in, they look like hoodie monks, right? Like just like monks, just
hoodie monks.
Hoodie monks, get the hood on, like the.
That could be an old school rap group, the Hoodie Monks, from like 1995.
You know what, and brother, the tiny jeans are gone now. I'm glad that's gone, but now it's the baggy sweats. Like,
I mean, it's going back in the circle, man. This is all a cycle.
Yeah.
But
we need to go back to cross colors. Cross colors,
hey,
so you could be.
Now that we're on that, before we move to the next topic, I want to ask y'all: have y'all seen this? Have y'all been hearing more and more like old school hip hop in commercials now? Because I've been hearing for stuff like for Depends and stuff like that, for old people stuff. Like I Look, man, I heard
Bro, I just
I heard
thought
the
Deion Sanders just did a Depends commercial and it fucked me up. Do you understand who Deion Sanders is to me? And that he's doing Depends commercials, bro. Get your bag. But this is prime time.
No, but I'm tripping off the fact that like these products that are marketed to suburban old white people, they got shimmy. I done heard shimmy shimmy y'all in one commercial. I done heard party up and like some kids dancing in the background. This morning I heard that what was that beat? The Apache beat that they used. I heard that like some breakdancing and put some sketches and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm hearing all this stuff. It's like, am I getting old or is this stuff? Or are they just finding this?
No, you get old.
Well, there's two things though. I mean, here's the not to be that guy, right? Here goes that, right? But remember a few years ago, all these people were buying and selling catalogs. Like people, like a few rappers, like would cash out. And so what a lot of these older rappers did, because there's not a union, they don't have a lot of health care, whatever. The ones that own their masters, some of them are selling stuff and trying to get money that way. So all these companies have all these tracks and stuff, and they're gonna use them, right? If you give somebody $150 million, for their catalog, you're gonna use it. So some of that is we're starting to see a little bit of that too. But yes, let's go to this last topic. So Chris, our good brother Uncle Snoop, he caught your attention. What's going on?
Well, I'm almost afraid to bring this one to this show with this crew of individuals, because I know what this is about to be. But anyways, so Snoop Dogg, famous long-term rapper and Trump aficionado who likes to do kind of paid gigs, DJing, like he did this thing at the Trump ball, like was like the crypto ball. And what he was basically like, if y'all can remember back in the day of Chuck E. Cheese, when you would go there and they had them spooky ass animatronics that would, Snoop did that at a Trump ball for the crypto ball. He was the animatronic Negro for a Trump ball, whatnot, of which he seems to have forgotten because he went to a movie recently, a Lightyear movie. I didn't even know there was a Lightyear movie because my kids are not old enough and I'm not that young anymore and I don't have grandchildren. But he took his grandchild to see Lightyear. And in that movie, he was shocked. He said he was shocked by the depiction of a lesbian couple, Alicia Hawthorne and her wife in Lightyear. There's a scene in there where they kiss and they welcome a son. And Snoop said, I don't come here for this shit. Right, reflecting his discomfort with the representation during a family movie outing. And he said, basically, this is going to make him have to explain to his grandchild that women can scissor and have kids, or at least, adopt kids and do whatever. I don't know, like, shit. Huh?
So you shit.
Like, right? He felt like it was going to make him have to go into a sexual conversation that would explain where babies come from, because he's like, I think he said his grandkid asked him,
his grandkid asked
they have a baby or something like that. So whatever. So he got mad. He in the public, he put this out there. It created some tension and some public reaction. He's now receiving backlash. His comments have drawn lots of criticism, of course, as you would expect that they would, and all from the same people. And the inclusion of a same-sex couple in Lightyear is probably not a new thing to parents or to active grandparents, but for him, it was shocking. It was jolting to see that this was in a modern movie and that he would have to talk about it. So there you have it. That's the issue of the day, is that the thing that I found interesting about this is I know all the predictable debate that could come out of this. I'm not stupid, right? Like I'm a parent, and I've been a parent in every decade since the 90s. And there's so many different types of movies that you go to where a scene comes on and you're going to have to like quickly
your parents are doing this to you.
I didn't think this through. Yeah, I didn't think this one through. Oh goddamn,
I went to go see House Party, maybe cover my head. It was just,
and so for me, it's just like funny that a dude who made his entire career talking about murders of people, he draws the line at two women kissing and adopting a kid. Making an entire like career out of telling other people's kids to smoke weed and kill each other. He draws the line at two women kissing. When some of us, for instance, you've been parents for a long time. There's this website, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called I think it's Common Sense Media. So you could go there, you could plug any media in, any movie in, and it'll tell you if there's boobs, It'll tell you if there's like, frontal, full frontal. It'll tell you all different kinds of things, blah, 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 and it'll also tell you what the kids themselves say. So it'll say like maybe appropriate for 13-year-olds, but 13-year-olds think it's more appropriate for like 8-year-olds. It'll say like, it'll tell you what kids think, like if it's age appropriate or not.
That's actually a great site. That's kind of smart.
It's a very smart device because it doesn't just do one kind of, it tells you whether or not it's going to be sexual problems, whether there's going to be violence or drug use or even concepts like negative concepts, whatever. So anyways, apparently he didn't use that. He was shocked. He was shocked. 187 on an undercover cop was shocked by two women kissing. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, I hope you didn't watch Zootopia because it's full of bestiality and stuff. I mean,
stop it.
No, but
hey, Zootopia may be one of the most subversive, smart movies of like that. That movie had a level of depth that I just did not expect in a children's movie, but that movie was deep in a lot of ways.
I saw it by mistake because I was half asleep one night and it was on. I didn't feel like moving because I was on the couch, and I ended up watching it. And it was about that movie was about like racism and discrimination and all that stuff. I didn't know that. Same like The Fox and the Hound. Remember, The Fox and the Hound was about Jim Crow. People don't remember that. That's what that was about.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, The Fox and the Hound. The old Disney movie.
I was young when I saw Fox and the Hound. I didn't make that connection.
The Fox and the Hound was about the little fox and the little puppet that was friends with each other. That was basically a white boy and a black boy, and the Klan and the black lady was trying to keep them from killing each other. That's what that was about.
Wow.
You know what? Like for me though, this issue, there's two things here. Number one, just in general as parents, you guys just made a big point. You made a really big point is over time, it has become harder and harder and harder to make children's movies that the whole family cannot be bored out of their mind in. So there's got to be something for adults layered into some of these movies. And a lot of these kids movies have lots of adult humor layered all throughout them, right? Like all throughout them, there's adult themes all throughout these. And there's stuff the kids aren't picking up, but you're picking up, and there's stuff that's in there just for them, whatever. That's just an entertainment world thing, right? Like that's a challenge. Try and make a good movie today for kids and for their families to take them to see it, and have everybody like the what's the one where they got the Stretch family, the family that stretches, the Incredible. That's good. That movie like on everybody in the family can sit watch that movie.
Fantastic Four movie of all time. It's based off, but I love that movie. That movie was great.
Good. I mean, the whole series is, whole family can laugh.
But even that had some things in there for adults and everything. Because Miss Incredible,
it had a lot in there for adults. She thought he was cheating on her. She thought he was banging that lady out. Like it's actually a lot of adult things in there.
Yes,
This is Incredible.
There's a lot of like innuendo about how good
puberty
it is
in the second one, like puberty in the second one for the daughter. Like it was a lot of stuff.
But
there's a lot of stuff in there. If you're not used to going to see it, you might go there. Like the Freak Out Machine. The books, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but like Toni Morrison's Bluest Eye and some other books or whatnot are still getting pulled out now. The more certain demographic a parent discovers them and doesn't understand them, this is becoming like one of the most targeted books or whatever. When you have shared space in the world, you always run the risk that there's somebody's going to show up and freak out about anything. Like that's just it's hard to have common libraries and common schools and movies that everybody can watch or whatnot, because there's going to be some Karen that walks in and is mad about just one thing they saw. It used to be interracial kissing, right? Like I don't know if y'all remember the story. Howard Hughes like bought one of the networks or something because he thought he saw on the Dating Game an interracial couple kissing, and it turned out it was just a black man with a light-skinned black woman, but he thought it was a interracial, so he bought the damn network to try and kill the show, right?
I remember the story from like all the outrage that happened when Uhura and Kirk kissed on Star Trek. It was like 1967.
Oh, but that was like a historic moment.
Yeah,
it was. It's got its own Wikipedia page. Look it up right now. It's got its own Wikipedia page. The kiss.
This was wild about that. What I thought was funny when you talked about how people can get up in arms over stuff. It was like the show is set in the future where the world managed to not blow itself up or to rebuild itself after a nuclear war, and they managed to overcome racism, poverty, and everything else. But a black woman and a white man kissing in the future is beyond.
Jordan, bump that. People have full-on relationships with aliens. Like, what are we talking? There's aliens. Like,
Spock. Remember, Spock is biracial. His mother is like a human, right? And his father's a Vulcan and stuff.
Yeah, that's the weak side of him. This just took the nerdiest turn. But back to this though, right? So what's the question about this? Like the Snoop, the controversy.
You know, like, listen, I know that Snoop is older than people think that he is because he doesn't age like everybody else does. And they expect because he's a weed smoker and that he's at a certain level of like just chill with everybody. He's always the chillest in the room, that it would be surprising to some people that he would be straight on kind of unevolved in this particular situation. You know, because you just expect like entertainers and especially ones that smoke ton of weed and talk ton of shit on their albums to be that way. So they see him as a grandfather who's old school homophobic, and I'm purposely saying that because I know that he's going to get the defense of this isn't really homophobic or it's a valid concern or whatever. But I'm just going to put it out there. It's weird. It's like a weird thing to be that obsessed with, and I honestly, be very honest with you, I don't understand like the black male preoccupation with these things. Versus all the other things in the world that you could freak out about. Like you freak out about a lot of stuff. Like I could freak out about you going to be an animatronic at a Trump ball, right? Right. I feel like that's 10 times worse than anything that he's upset about here right now, right? I would rather my kids watch two women kiss in a children's movie than watch one of my favorite rappers do a Trump ball, right? Like, so if one's about outrage, I just feel like we got our priorities mixed up.
I feel like there's some context missing there, but I got you. I hear you. You know.
Let me wade into this one.
Please do.
I think people really don't understand that a lot of black people are very socially conservative. They may be, I think most people really are concerned about the issues that affect them, and most black people are concerned about, civil rights and things that are going to affect them specifically. I think most black people really don't have an issue. Some people do, obviously, with gay people and LGBTQ people, but black people really do tend to be socially conservative. Even with all the other stuff that goes on, most people are really focused on family values. A lot of people are focused on what they could perceive to be family values. And Snoop, like you said, is a grandfather. He's he's older. And also, I think people have this idea that I think what happens is a lot with celebrities, people project things onto them that aren't really there. You know what I mean? And I think what happens with that is when you automatically assume somebody who's cool in one way, like you said, they're going to be cool in every other way. And when they're not, then that shocks people because again, you built up this image of them as sort of like, and Snoop has this image. Well, let me backtrack. I think Snoop has basically had the most. I think Snoop has probably had the most rebrands of any celebrity in the history of celebrities.
He might be the most famous rapper of all time.
Not even rap. Snoop is
I'm just saying he's transcended rapper, but I'm saying he may be the most famous person to come out of that field.
Yeah, I think it's maybe Tupac than him for the most part. And it's like the way it plays out, Snoop came out, he was a gangbanger from Long Beach. That was his first persona. Then he moved from that to being like somebody who was like an all-around performer and entertainer. He moved from that to going into being sort of like somebody that mainstream America would love. He was like everybody's favorite laid-back nephew who works on cars and stuff. Old white people love Snoop. Old 90-year-old Jewish ladies love Snoop. And I think people who are getting used to Snoop, it's sort of like they're getting the Will Smith Snoop, not the Fresh Prince Snoop. They're getting I'm the friendly, laid back dude who smokes weed Snoop. They're not getting the Snoop that came out of Long Beach and everything. And I think people don't realize that these two things coexist with each other. And so when he says something like that, or when he feels that way, people get shocked by it, like I said. So that's what happens with that. The other part of it is people got to forget that these people are entertainers and they do what they do for money. Back to your point, Chris, these people, Snoop will show up to whatever for the check. Just like most rappers will show up to anywhere for the check. Snoop don't care about no Trump stuff. Snoop don't care about. If Kamala asked him to come,
well, his man was running the ball. Like his man he's a crypto guy. It was he was there with his man, and he got crypto.
If Kamala had asked him to come and she had a check for him, he'd have went to that. They just so happened that they had a check that week, and that's where he went. And that ties into the fact that I think we really need to stop letting these people like Dave Chappelle said. Quit asking Ja Rule about foreign policy. I think sometimes we put too much stuff on these people to be more than they need to be. I need Snoop to smoke weed and sing gin and juice. Beyond that, I don't care what he got to say about the rest of it.
Yeah, I look at this, man. I watched the clip after I went back and watched, like, the way I was getting clips. At first, I thought he kind of went out of his way to make the statement. It was in the midst of a podcast and they was having a conversation. I think both things are true, bro. I think people can be annoyed with what he thinks or whatever the case is and call him a hypocrite. I mean, listen, Snoop also has porn. Like Snoop has hosted like porns before. Snoop has come out on the red carpet with 2 women on leashes before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's I think the hypocrisy of who, you know, what Snoop has represented in certain ways, and this statement is incongruent for a lot of people. But on the other side of it, it's also a grandfather who feels that there's an LGBTQ agenda that's being smashed into everything, and he didn't know that was happening, and he could be annoyed as a grandparent. I think both things can be true. I think you can choose to care or not care about either one of those people. But I do think that Snoop has been able to embrace different groups and things like that. But like I said, I don't know. Like Chris, you said this earlier. Fatherhood changes you. And maybe grandfatherhood changes you. I don't know. I don't know if the hardest thing you've ever heard is.
I don't know either. I haven't seen his commercials on the importance of fatherhood. But what I will say this is I've seen his content that he's put out in the world. And it's funny what you just said. You just said a couple of things I think are hilarious because Torin, when you say that Black folks are more socially conservative than people give us credit for, that's something that is often said. That is often said. And it's funny that it's often said when it's the gay issue. Because family values and conservatism, as somebody who has like spent the majority of my life with conservatives, more so far more time than with liberals and so-called progressives, I can tell you this much: conservatism used to be a set of principles that are completely incongruent with all these Negroes, right? Like the idea that you show up one night with 2 women on chains in porn get up and you smoking a bunch of weed, but gayness is the line that you draw. That's far from social conservatism. That's far from conservatism or anything looks like. That's not conservatism. That's straight up just that's rebranding homophobia as, oh, but you know, we're kind of conservative. No, we're not. We're not conservative when we don't show up to church on Sunday because we spent too much time on Friday night and Saturday night doing crazy shit. We're not. Freaknik is not because we're socially conservative. It wasn't, you know, because we're socially conservative. You know, all these people like ending up with all kinds of different crazy situations. It's only when we want to pick and choose an issue to say, oh, but I'm conservative on this. No,
I'm not disputing you on that. I absolutely believe you. But what I'm saying is, and people, and I admit, Black people can be just as guilty of some hypocrisy as anybody else. But what I'm saying is, I don't think necessarily that Black people get into this family values back just because of homosexuality, although that is there. I think if you poll most Black people, you're going to see that most people they believe in a man and a woman in a household raising kids. They believe that most Black people, if you're gay, then that's your business, but keep it to yourself. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that that's how most Black people, for the most part, live and let live. And this is my totally unscientific theory. I'm just saying that that's how most people tend to live their life. I think that's how most people tend to live their lives. There's people who capitalize on the stuff and they try to say that homosexuality is going to drag America to hell, or having children out of wedlock means you're an unfit culture and everything, and you need and you're a degenerate culture. I get that. What I'm saying is most people don't really put the stuff into their world that much. Most people are trying to figure out, how can I pay my bills? How can I get myself taken care of? How can I take care of my kids? That's what I mean by conservative. I don't mean they're like the Charlie Kirk conservatives. I'm talking about the people who are just trying to live and be financial. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's real funny that, like, you know, they're conservative. They just think that there should be a man and a woman in the house, blah blah blah. Except for even the ones that don't have a man and a woman in the house.
Well, I mean, but what I was thinking though, I was thinking that I don't think he had a problem as much with that. I think it was, and again, from when I went and listened to it, I think he wasn't expecting it when he was taking his grandkid to this movie. I think he feels like that's not appropriate for what's supposed to be a rated G movie, right? Like, I think that's what he was saying. And again, I don't need to defend him or condemn him on it at all, right? I like when I read it, like I read the headline and the headlines were more salacious, and then I went and watched it, and it was just kind of like to me, it was like a throwaway part of the conversation, but I think it does.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as a throwaway if you know you're globally famous, there's no such thing as a throwaway line. Most of what you say can actually, and you've lived long enough. I mean, he's old enough to have lived long enough to know there's people like him who've caught cases for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time because they snitch on themselves, or they just come short of snitching on themselves, talking a little too loose or whatever. Right. This is just known. You're not just a grandfather. If you were just a grandfather, you can say whatever you want, right? Like, you know, you're not just having a conversation in your living room. You have homies that have been brought up on charges because they weren't paying attention to what they were saying or whatever.
Well, you know, he also, you know, murder was the case was a real thing. Like, you know,
he beat a case. Murder. I mean, he made a case himself. So I mean,
He was on trial for murder. Like, let's just like.
I mean, you're only making my case. You're only making my case a little easier here. I mean, you know, like, okay, Judas, like you know, you were on trial for murder, but 2 women kissing there, like, you know, I am sure he didn't watch some explicit.
I guess what I was saying, Chris. I guess what I was saying, Chris, is if there was a drive-by shooting in this same very movie, I would expect him in the same turn to be like, I'm taking my grandbaby to this thing, and there's a damn drive-by shooting in a G movie. Like I don't know, but again, I'm just saying, like when I look at Snoop, I don't take it's like what you said, Torrin. I don't look at my celebrities for like guidance in other places outside of the realm of what they do. And I just think that that's interesting. Like I remember when him and Martha Stewart was doing their thing, and they had the funny little commercial where, you know, one of us is a federal, but like one of us is like was federally indicted, right? Like it is like, and I'm not the felon. Snoop's not the felon. Like Martha Stewart's the felon. They would have fun with that. I mean, look, I think I get it. I don't have any strong arguments against anything that you said, Chris. I think that the hypocrisy is glaring. I think that it's a funny moment in social media where something like you represent these things so very clearly, you know what I'm saying, that it's like Gene Simmons complaining about a kiss somewhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, you stuck your tongue out at everything else, but not at the G-rated movie, sir. Like, bro, Kiss has been in G-rated, you know, like they've been represented. But I think
he's a good example too. He did a Snoop. He had a Snoop moment multiple times. I don't know if y'all know this, but Gene Simmons from Kiss, who has bragged about having over 3,000 women or whatever, blah, 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 and all this type of stuff, is actually a conservative. And he's a Fox News conservative. And he went all off about the BLM stuff and, you know, about the riots and all this type of stuff. Now, this is a dude who since the 70s has lived this crazy, you know, weird lifestyle. But a bridge too far is black people fighting for their rights, right? Like that's a bridge too far. That's America going to hell.
But these people get older, Chris. Like again, one is a 19-year-old person that's making
get older, bro. Like some people get older, they just like they count their money still. Right?
I mean, they still count their money, but like, again, right? Like I said, I think he would have the same response if there was a drive-by shooting. Like I think he is just deeming that this is inappropriate in a G-rated movie, and I don't want to. And I feel like I should have known that going into the movie. That's how I heard it.
But you know what, though? Something else we got to think about too. That goes back to what Chris said. A lot of times, filmmakers, especially animated filmmakers, are trying so hard to try to get the. Right. You know, look, you make a movie, you want to get the biggest audience you can. So if you're working on animated films, a lot of them are trying to skirt the line to figure out what works and what doesn't, and how can we appeal to adults with a humor that they like, and kids the stuff that they like. And one example of that, remember that movie Sausage Party that came out? That a lot of parents took their kids.
It's a wild movie, bro.
But check it out. Remember, there was a big controversy because a lot of kids.
The food is having an orgy, bro.
But check it out though. No, that's what I'm saying. A lot of parents took their kids to that movie thinking it was a Pixar movie, something like that, and found out it's about swingers and an orgy and shit like that.
Hey, it was not Pixar. And then they got a show. The show is on Amazon, bro. The show is wilder, bro. Like, but see it that like you got duped. But it's like, well, maybe it's a mistake that this is an R-rated movie in this cartoon. No, that's not a mistake, bro. But it's again,
it's a movie about an animated swingers resort. So I mean, and people didn't pick up on it. They took their kids.
It's a wild. But again, but
you know what? Like, listen, too. This is becoming. First of all, I just want to say, conservatives, y'all lost the culture a long time ago. And the reason why you are so out crazy and MAGA crazy the way that you are, and you will all be a footnote to history. I just want you to know. But the reason you're so crazy on these things is because you know for a fact you already lost the culture. Years ago, you realized that the sexual revolution was a problem, that people not wanting to get married like they used to was a problem, that people not wanting to have babies the same way is a problem. These are all things that and not wanting to go to church every day and every week the way that you did. The whole little kind of white supremacist toolkit that you had back in the day to keep everybody as being little social soldiers or whatnot. You know, years ago, you lost that. That's why you put hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 3-4 decades trying to recoup any type of culture you could and create a culture of resistance against the counterculture. The counterculture tore all your stuff up. Rock and roll, Jimi Hendrix, all that type of stuff was the end of everything. It was the beginning and the end of everything. The Black Panthers, the whole civil rights thing, the interracial marriage thing, the gay marriage thing, all of it was tearing up your house because it was all counterculture. You owned the culture, all the little bombs, all the little schools, all the little churches, all that little stuff. And then people were like, you know, I kind of like liquor stores. And this heroin stuff ain't so bad. And I kind of like having 4 different girlfriends. And blah blah. All that countercultural stuff whooped your ass. So you spent years spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to create a counterculture to the counterculture. And that's why you have all this MAGA stuff right now. But it will be short-lived because, see, the natural inclination of people is to always liberalize and want to do more than they're told that they can do. So if you tell me I can only have one woman my entire life, guess what I'm going to want to do? If you tell me I can only go to one type of anything, guess what I'm going to want to do? That's why they fight so hard right now. They're so desperate. That's what's anti-DEI.
I know, but I don't know how we got to MAGA because we was talking about Snoop, and I don't think Snoop is MAGA. Like, I think we. I
think he's MAGA adjacent. I think he's definitely.
I don't think he's MAGA adjacent at all.
Why would you go to a MAGA ball? Why would you?
He went to a crypto ball.
He went to a MAGA crypto ball that was held by the attorney. That was held by the attorney that Trump hired.
And he is invested over there. Like he went.
Money adjacent. That's what Snoop is.
Yeah, like
lots of people turn that invitation down who are also invested.
That's fine. But I mean, and that's their choice. But I don't think he's a MAGA. I don't think there's anybody that'll be like he's a MAGA guy. Like, and this is what when I get into when they talk about Ice Cube. I mean, and I just disagree with you. I love you, but I disagree. Like when they try to say Ice Cube is MAGA, Ice Cube is just Ice Cube, bro. Like if you listen to Ice Cube from the first album, Ice Cube feels the same. Ice Cube has never liked any president.
I'm not talking about their albums. I'm talking about literally going into business. I'm talking about literally going into business with MAGA people. He went into Steve Bannon.
It's lucrative. That's all they care about. That's what I keep trying to tell you, man.
It could be lucrative without Steve Bannon.
No, lucrative. I mean, look.
I don't listen. Like I said, I think
I don't know how to unpack that one. Because
this is where we start to lose the plot, though, right? Because we know good and well there are MAGA people. We know black conservatives that are like MAGA people, right? That believe in that stuff. Snoop Dogg is just not one of those people. And again, like he's not like in any way, shape, or form. Now, what he is he's a grandfather now. And again, he got caught off guard and had to explain some shit, and he wasn't prepared to. And then he got asked about something on the podcast, and that was the answer. It's the same way I grew up on Little Kim. I shouldn't have been listening to Little Kim when I was younger. Little Kim helped me become a man when I was in middle school. But that's like Little Kim right now. If she saw a little 15-year-old girl saying, "You got to cover up, baby," and it's like you telling, like, how do you? But it's Little Kim is 60-some years old now. It's different. Like I
was just in your city. I was just in Chicago yesterday, in your city, and
we love having you here, brother.
And someone said to me, someone who I trust and who's very Chicago and understands Chicago very well,
right,
told me about how Trump pardoned one of the most revered black criminals in Chicago history, right? And it turns out he did the same thing with the Detroit mayor, and it turns out he did the same thing. Like his attorney, it turns out his attorney is the same attorney that does a lot of hip hop cases. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of hip hoppers, during the election last year, were starting to flip for some reason. And they were starting to show up to things that they normally wouldn't show up to. And some of them got some pretty suspicious pardons and blah, 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 whatever, whatnot. But there's one guy behind it, one dude. There's like an attorney, one attorney dude who represents a lot of these folks or whatnot. Now, I don't know what it takes to qualify whether somebody really is or really isn't. But I know it's not listening to their albums that does it. I do know that there's some stuff you're not going to find Denzel wrapped up in. There's some stuff you're not going to find Paris. You and I talked about Paris today.
If you want to talk about, Denzel Washington, they call him a conservative all the time because he will talk to you about Jesus quickly. He will talk to you about Jesus.
Very quickly. I would argue that like we're having a fight over who owns Jesus. Like listen, I don't think that Jesus makes you a conservative.
I'm saying,
I will say that like putting money into Steve Bannon's pocket is kind of a long way to go the wrong direction.
Here's the thing, Chris. You cannot apply your absolutes and your morality to somebody else. That's all I'm saying. He's going to
I can.
No, brother. Look, I'm trying to tell you, brother. I'm trying to tell you I don't know Snoop from a man in the moon, but I know his career. And I'm telling you, if you got a check for Snoop, he going. That's really all that is. I don't think it's political. I don't think it's anything by the fact that if they got to have $1 million for me to perform, guess what I'm going to be. I think that's really all it is.
I agree with you 100%, 110% that for some people, that if there's a check involved, they will go. And I disagree 100% that that's everybody. As a matter of fact, we all know there are people that turn those invitations down based on who it is. We learned from the first Trump inauguration that for some people it might not be all that smart to think, oh, this is just a check.
Man, they
I'm
still won't
pay.
let Chris and Michelle do an album. Y'all gotta let Chris and Michelle come back, man. That
I don't
boy
think that
has
was
the voice
right.
of an Asian.
No, I would say that wasn't fair.
I
That
don't think
wasn't
it's
fair.
fair that they did that to her either, right? But Chris, but again, but
I
we
mean,
talking about
listen,
Snoop.
like I thought all was fair, you know.
No, I mean, but
I
we
didn't
talking
say
about
that.
It's not consequence free. I mean, yeah, you can take the check, but there's no such thing as a free check.
I mean, listen, I hear
Snoop's,
you.
but here's the thing: Snoop's audience is different than Chrisette Michelle's audience. Chrisette Michelle is sort of like that Erykah Badu light, where it's all about peace and love and everybody be loving and free. And Trump is the antithesis of that. Snoop came out the gate saying 187 on the undercover copy with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. That has not changed in 30 years. So it's not going to change because of this right now.
Yeah.
So I guess he must then be very okay with the current law enforcement regime then that Trump is putting in place.
But you know he's not. Like I mean, listen, I put like.
Well, I mean, what he just said, 187 on an undercover cop. Well, then it should be 187 on this president, right?
I mean, I think we can
put cops in your neighborhood. He's putting cops on your street.
I think these are some Chamberlain level reaches, brother. But I got you. I get the point. I'm
sure you do, my brother. But I'm just telling you, when this man puts people on the streets of Chicago, who are you gonna be with?
You said what?
When this president puts people on the ground from Mississippi and several southern states on the streets of Chicago,
it's gonna go really bad. Actually, I think it's a lot of guns in Chicago. I think it's gonna go really, really bad. And I think they're on his part. But I'm not putting that at the feet of Snoop Doggy Dogg. I think that
let's say they do a concert there. They do a concert there and they invite him and he goes.
Because we're turning a topic about a man out with his grandchild who got shocked by something and had a throwaway comment into a larger political ascertainment of like he's doing some undercut support of Steve Bannon. That's just a reach.
Let me clear that up. Just to be clear.
Y'all can't talk over each other. Hold on, Chris. What did you say, Torrin? What was your part?
I said Trump is not consulting Snoop about where to put troops in the National Guard in Compton and Chicago.
And he's not listening to him. Go ahead, Chris. I just couldn't hear both of y'all.
Well, two things. I feel like all that's just disingenuous because no, he's not, and no one's asking him about his theory on global politics or nothing like that. It's more simple than that. With everything that Trump is doing right now in this country to attack Black people, if him or his people host a concert somewhere, it's just all about whether or not it's smart to say, well, I'm not rich enough already. I just need to go do this check thing for the person who's right now actively trying to kill Black people everywhere we go. Because, I'm just a hip hopper. I like to just go, listen, Nelly's collecting his justice for that stupid way of thinking and being washed out like he is and taking.
But Nelly never said he supported Trump. He never said he supported Trump. He never said that.
So he when
got
they asked
invited
about
to perform and he took it.
His feedback to me sounded an awful lot like somebody that doesn't have a PR person for Black people. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It sounded like he just sounded like somebody that has gotten too low on the totem pole to have a good PR person for Black people.
I just think that. I hear you. I think that this Snoop thing has been a tool of projection to make a larger point that I don't think. Let me finish.
I'm the one who made this point, and it wasn't a reach. It was just to say.
But I'm saying I hear you. Wait, let me respond. I hear you. And it could be stupid, and we can disagree. I'm not annoyed. You can critique what Snoop said, what Snoop did, all those things. What I'm saying is, I don't think that he's a part of some larger schema to be a Trump supporter. And I think that when we go to this place, we can lose people. And he could be like, bro, I think that was stupid. You shouldn't have did that. That was a really dumb move. And I think that's fair to say. But I also don't think that somebody as a grandfather that had this thing and got shocked and you asked him and he gave his honest opinion, which is what rappers are supposed to do, is always keep it real. I think it's something that we just move on with if it's not a slow news day. I don't think it's news. I think he's just saying, he feels like this is being pushed on the children. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. I'm not saying I feel that way. I'm not saying that you feel that way, but that is a valid argument that is out there where people feel that certain things are being force fed to them and they don't have any control over it. I just feel like
you're giving Snoop way too much power and way too much, even though he's powerful and influential. I think you're making a jump from one thing to the other, where what he said about
Let me be
LGBT
clear. No.
is different than this other. Bro,
Yeah.
listen what I'm saying. I understand that Trump sets you off like Red Herring does with Fred on Scooby Doo and everything. But trust me,
No, he don't set me off. He don't set me off. The world is on fire right now.
Brother,
You don't.
just let me finish. What I'm saying is, I think one thing, they can be connected, but I don't think one influences the other to the point where it's that powerful and everything. I feel this is just Snoop collecting a check for something. Snoop saying something that maybe he didn't, I won't even say he didn't think through. He just gave his opinion. People picked that out of the store and ran with it, like you said, and then that's what it is. I don't think it's part of some global conspiracy to enslave the rest of the world under Trump. I just
I heard.
I just want to keep like rescuing my point, because I don't want people saying things that I didn't say.
Okay, and if I did that, I apologize, because
I
hate
did not
when
say
people do it to
anything
me.
about some global thing, this little thing
I was
turning
being-
into a global thing. And I just want to be very clear. What I said very clearly was, he had this little situation over here, and I thought it was interesting and funny, because if me personally, I had to pick out anything that I would be outraged about more, it would be less of two women kissing in a movie. It'd be more of the fact that he was paid a lot of money to go to that crypto ball during the Trump stuff, right?
Mhm.
And for Trump people. And I'm not the only one who called that out.
I
And
think
it's
it's a
not like
fair criticism.
he got called out on that. That was, and it wasn't because we think he's part of some big conspiracy. This is bigger than that. It was just because that one choice was dumb enough for it to, in isolation, be dumb enough when the whole world is paying attention to what's going on. Now, listen, no one has to agree with me, but I do think most people who are paying attention to what's happening in the world right now are not making light of the things that are actually taking place, the power shifts and the power moves and whatever. So what I would just ask people to do is do your own research. Do your own research about who's being paid to do what, when, where, and how, and the choices of how Black celebrities, some of them are making some very smart, shrewd choices not to do what Nelly and Snoop and some other people are doing. And this there will always be in the world, just like in MAGA world, there will always be people that let you get away with anything. They will find a way to throw you bail for anything. I'm just not one of those people. There is some things that are a bright black line between your people and the world. And if people aren't paying attention to politics and what's going on in the world, that's fine for them. But I feel like Nelly is paying a price. I feel like Snoop will probably pay some form of a price with people that are actively involved in what's going on in the world right now. And I feel like right now we have people like federalizing DC, about to federalize Chicago, cutting people off of shit that they need, making sure that people aren't getting all of what they're owed and due, and
I get that,
and
Chris.
hiring people left and right and
How
whatnot.
does that?
It's okay.
How does that
Snoop being mad at
the
the
middle
movie.
of all of that,
how does this
my
tie to
most
Snoop?
favorite celebrity shows up.
How
to a
does this
meeting
tie
with
into
him,
Snoop?
you know?
How does this tie into Snoop being mad at this movie?
How does what?
How does this
How does
tie
all
into
this-
Snoop being mad at this movie?
I feel like I just explained that.
No, what you did was, and I think you made a great point, but that was
I just think it's interesting. I just think it's interesting that one of these things is way more outrageous than the other. That's my point. The point that I made is, I feel like one of these things is like, listen, you go to a Klan meeting versus you didn't like two women kissing. I feel like I'm just like matching
You
those
didn't
things.
go through that. See, that's what I'm saying.
I
Okay.
feel like, well, listen, if y'all can use hyperbole, I can use hyperbole too.
I got
right?
you. I understand.
But my point is, he made a whole career on doing things that you could measure out and be like, really, this is your thing? That's the point that I made.
And that's the point that I make. The point that I'm making is I don't take notes from Snoop in those ways. I'm not taking notes from the man who was on trial for murder. I'm not taking notes from the man that has porn videos. Like I'm not taking I'm not taking my moral lessons from Snoop Dogg, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We talked about the woman in Minnesota, and we talked about her. I'm not taking morality lessons from a woman who calls a black child a nigger on the playground, but I am going to say something when she does it.
But what I'm saying is the higher level of thinking of connecting these dots up here to all these people and Steve Bannon and that, like, that's a different level than something right here in your face and immediate of calling a young black boy a nigga as a white person with black people around. I think those are different things. I think there's a reaction. I think that's a very different thing. I get what you're saying. I don't disagree.
You think what's different though? I don't get what you're saying about that. You think that, like,
I'm saying
hanging out with Steve Bannon,
let me tell you,
doing worse things.
Here we go again.
Worse things than calling black people niggas. You think hanging out with him and going into business with him?
I don't think he hung out with them. I think he went to a gig that he got paid for that his homie put on. Like,
No. The thing about Steve Bannon,
Steve
Bannon
Bannon
came
doesn't
out
have anything to
because
do with this movie, is what I'm saying. We still
and he
Actually,
wasn't
no.
there for Steve Bannon. He has a different friend. Snoop is explaining this himself. He has a different friend who was doing something with this, and he's invested in it. Again, the critique is fair, Chris. I'm not disagreeing with your ability to critique, but the difference in this white woman calling a black boy a nigga on a playground with black people in the vicinity is right and immediate in your face. Like, everybody's not as politically astute. Everybody's not on that plane. Everybody's not politicizing everything. And again, I know you would call those people stupid, and you have a right to. I actually don't disagree with a lot of what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, when I read these headlines about Snoop, I thought Snoop went out of his way to make this statement. I thought Snoop was doing something else. And then I watched the clip, and I was like, he's just in a conversation on a podcast that's a throwaway podcast. You can't tell me the name of the podcast. You can't tell me the host of the podcast. You can't tell me how many episodes they did. What somebody did is they clipped a piece of Snoop because they knew what social media would do, and it would make this shit work. That's all I'm saying. And you're not wrong in your assessment of what you think we should be doing and how we should be acting and what black celebrities should be doing. That's a very fair criticism. But there is a leap that was made from, like, when we talking about Snoop to, like, I don't need everybody to go do their research. Like, the nigga just didn't like the movie, bruh. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to keep correcting the record. I didn't make any leap. I made a very clear point of, I think it's funny where your line is drawn on what to be outraged about. Your outrage line is being drawn at two women kissing when you've made an entire career of other things that people have brought to Congress to try and get you rated on. This like, we've been through this, like, Dolores Tucker, the whole thing about going to Congress, to get your albums rated and whatnot, blah blah. It's just ironic to me. That's not a leap to say you've made an entire career of outrageous things,
brother. It's not.
And this is the one you get outraged about.
I've been kind of quiet on this for the past few minutes, but what I'm saying is, I think it is sort of a leap because we're talking about one man's opinion about a movie and a scene in the movie that he didn't like. And I feel like to take that and extrapolate that particular, his feeling on that, into this whole thing where we're talking about if things don't change and if we don't move the needle about how the way black celebrities move, then it's going to be like General Hux blowing up planets on the Star Wars movie. I just feel like they're both valid points, but they're two totally separate things, and I don't think they're connected to this degree. Is all I'm saying.
And when we say and outrage was a strong
I can't do nothing with it. So
I hear you.
Like,
I mean,
I made my point. My main point was that they're not connected. My main point was I just think it's ironic for the person who is doing some shit that I think is imminently more serious, right? Imminently more serious to have this other problem. Right, like that to me is not really.
Well, Chris, I agree with you from the gate. I agree with you that the person outraged has porns and was on trial for murder, and like it's the hypocrisy of it, right? But again, if Snoop had came out, like if Snoop made a big deal about it, if Snoop was like boycott these movies, if Snoop was like trying to use all his power to get that out the way, I thought that when you read the headlines, it's making it seem like he took this incredibly vested interest.
Yeah. It was just like he went on a rant or something.
It was just a throwaway line. Like we've had 8,000 throwaway lines in this. I agree with you though, Chris, around like now if we have a larger conversation about the responsibility of celebrities in this time, we can have that conversation. I think that you're absolutely right. Like I'm not actually even fighting you on this. I think that the point that you're making is an astute one, and I think it's a good one. I just was struggling to see, like, because it's Snoop. Like it's like the contradictions that are flying rampant are hilarious. Like I don't even take it seriously because I'm not listening to a Snoop political rant on anything. Only on weed, only on his legalization of weed. That's the only thing. But outside of it, I'm not.
The last thing he said that I could really get behind politically was when he really took up for Kobe Bryant after the situation with Lisa Leslie and Gail. I respected that.
When Gail was pressing to get him to say something bad about Kobe right after he died.
Yeah, that was foul. You know what I mean? And then to bring it back and make a little bit of levity, it was funny seeing Oprah on the Today Show a couple of days later. She's not well. Oh, she's lost. She won't come out of the house and everything like that. I mean, but I'm just saying it to say that you can say what you want to say. I just think we have to put the stuff in the context. I see Snoop as an entertainer. I know I don't see any more than that. I think he's entertaining. I love his music. I love his music since Doggy Style came out, and even the Chronic before that. Beyond that, I don't need nothing else beyond that. I don't take nothing beyond that serious. He didn't like the movie, fine. He performed at what's the name? Fine, I don't see it no more than that. It's a check. There's things that are way more sinister and serious than who Snoop gets paid to perform for, in my opinion. That's all I got.
Yeah, Snoop is not a serious actor to me. I mean, I hope he has a good life. I've met him before. He's a really cool dude. He's a nice guy, but I'm not going to a movie for Snoop Dogg ever. Like, I'm just not doing it. He's not good at it. So I get what you're saying. I just was like, and I get the larger point. I think the larger point is valid. I just don't know if Snoop is the horse to carry us into there. I think because here's the thing: if there's an issue that's actually impacting Black people that's right in his face, germane to it, like the Kobe Bryant thing, I do think Snoop for the most part would do the right thing. I do think Nelly for the most part would do the right thing. There are other people. There are Black people that actually hate Black people, though. There are Black people that's like, they deserve X, Y, and Z. Like, and I think I think Jason Whitlock is in a different camp of like hating himself and who Black people are, right? I think this is somebody that's got way more power in this situation and probably didn't expect this to have the type of blowback. But you know, it'll be a thing for a few weeks and then it'll go away until you do something else stupid, which again, he might. You know what I'm saying? Because how can you not do something stupid if you're a celebrity and you are now being held accountable as if you are this super smart, like he's not Mark Lamont Hill. He doesn't have the political, he's not politically astute in that same way and is in making those kind of conscious decisions. But it's because I'm not even arguing with you. I don't even fully disagree with you. It was just the connection. That's all. I don't want you to feel like I'm twisting your words because I'm not trying to. I just don't.
I just want to be clear. Y'all do disagree with me and my major points of what I'm saying, and that's fine. Like that's fine.
What are the major points you think we disagree on?
I just have my own points, right? Like listen.
Yeah, and that's
we are in the middle of a situation right now, and celebrities and non-celebrities and business people or whatnot, you can make choices. You can make choices, and I hope people hold you accountable for your choices. These aren't stupid people.
But what big choice did you just make is what I'm saying. Like what big choice of consequence did
I don't want to relitigate it, but I just will say he got all the adequate kind of attention for performing at Trump's ball after other people declined it, just like everybody did. I don't buy that it was just because he's invested in crypto and any of that type of shit. There's a lot of people invested in crypto.
So you think he's like a Trumper?
I don't even need to make that leap. All I have to say is he went and took that money and he went to that thing when other people turned it down for good reason, because they were smart enough to know that this is a person who is actively trying to kill Black people right now, who is actively trying to rob Black people of every little bit of their dignity, their history, their legacy, their laws, their protections, everything. So the idea that you don't have enough money, that you need to go and cavort with anybody having something who's an actively in the moment, actively coming after your people. Listen, that's a choice. I know for a fact where I would be on that right now, because you can hear it in my voice how strongly I am about. There's some meetings I don't need to go to. There's some places I don't need to go. I don't need to do everybody's everything. And as a matter of fact, the richer you get, the less you need to go to everybody's everything. As a matter of fact, it does come down to some choices, whatever. But listen, we're just all different people. I would not form a basketball league with Steve Bannon and his business partners. That don't make any sense.
I get it, Chris. Here's the thing with that, and this is all I got to say about it, Chris. But the only thing I want you to understand, brother, is that Snoop, like I said, I don't know Snoop from the Man in the Moon, but I do know this. People who are like that don't care about that shit you talking about, bro. It's just they just want their check and they want to get paid. And I'm just saying, this ain't me talking about. This is how people think. A lot of this stuff, a lot of these moral conundrums that you putting on top of this, these people don't care about none of that, bro. They want their bread. That's it. That's really all it is. They ain't thinking no further.
And I'm not disagreeing with you on that, though.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that, because the people who sold us out in many different ways, that's exactly the mentality that they had.
Somebody just DM me and asked what happened or what Snoop said, so I just found it. Here's what Snoop said in his own words. I DJ'd at the Crypto Ball for 30 minutes. I made a whole bunch of money. I made a lot of relationships to help the inner city and teach financial literacy, Snoop said. That's 30 minutes. I've been doing great things for the community for 30 years. So which one is it? 30 for 30. He insisted that the event wasn't politically motivated. I don't represent the Republican Party. I don't represent the Democratic Party. I represent the Gangster Party, period. The booking, he explained, came through longtime business partner David Sachs and was part of a broader crypto initiative meant to bring resources back to the hood. Cool, I'm with you. You're helping the hood out. How does the hate work when I'm trying to help y'all, but y'all talking trash? That was him in his own words. You know, I mean, we can all agree. I just want somebody asked what actually happened, so I just wanted to
Yeah, I
make
just
sure
want
I
to
found
correct a couple things for the record, because you could litigate this all day, and we could pull up a lot of sources about who all these kids. And that's why earlier I told people to go and do your own research, because it's really interesting when you start falling down the rabbit hole about how people are connected to each other, and which people are connected to each other. And I think it will be very interesting to a lot of people that there are people in hip hop, the world that we think is so independent and gangster and all that, who are actually cavorting and in business deals and in business arrangements with some of the craziest list of criminals and folks on the other side of us. But that aside, because I don't even want to go through all that right now, because all we're going to do is like pull up exculpatory information for Trump right now.
I just want to let
whoever
the man
this is in the
speak for
comments who
himself.
said dude is an alarmist liberal, right? I don't know who.
Oh, somebody said that. Hold on, wait. Go
dude
ahead.
is an alarmist liberal, and if Trump is doing all this, what's wrong with the Democratic Party? Blah 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 blah. Let's just be clear. I'm not a liberal. I've been a liberal. So.
Do your thing, Chris. Right. Go ahead, brother. I got
so
your back.
We just go straight up. I'm a libertarian. I've never been a liberal, right? Never been a progressive, never been a liberal, and never been a Democrat, actually. So let's just get this straight right here before we start throwing around. Because listen, what I am is a stupid detector, right? I detect stupid, right? And I detect stupid by what people say. I've never been any of these things. Right now, if Trump is doing all this stuff, I don't even need to go any further. It's a stupid premise. If Trump is doing all this stuff, if you don't know what Trump is doing right now, we're not ready for this conversation. That's all I can say. I actually don't argue with fools, right? If Trump is doing all this stuff is a sentence that lets me know that you have some graduating to do before we can have this conversation, because the world has a lot of things going on right now. There's a lot of things going on right now, and the majority of them aren't being paid attention to, but they will come to bite us in the ass when we finally figure it out. That's the whole thing. Now, who's going to be the last man standing? Who's going to be the one who'll be like, damn, I didn't even see that they were coming for our children, coming for our women, coming for our communities, coming for our scholars, coming for our schools, coming for our libraries, coming for our standing in America, coming to make us a what we call in the last show that we had a legacy minority. Y'all used to be one of the moral leading voices of the country and minorities. We replaced you. You're now in paused status. That's all happening right now. There is no if Trump is doing all this shit, whatever. So anyways, I just thought I would give a commercial for smart over stupid. And that was my commercial. Because right now, if you are not paying attention, you will pay a price. Attention is like the least expensive thing you can pay right now. Inattention is the thing that's going to cost your ass a lot of money. A lot of everything. So anyway, that's just me. I'm just wondering.
Hey Chris, get it off. I love it, bro. I'm with you, man. I think this was another great episode, and I love that we can have these conversations, and I think it was dope. On the way out, I know Torin, you got to go. We're gonna shut it down. Miss L. Michelle said, "Are y'all gonna talk about Travis and what's that other lady name?
Oh hell no,
Taylor? No, why? Hey, congratulations to them white. That's white right. People's business. Congratulations to them. Go be happy. I don't know why black women are up in arms about
look here.
White man marrying a white woman. But
all I gotta say about that, there's a whole demographic that's going.
They losing their mind, bro.
And more than going to fill up their
content.
That's
the same demographic that if they see a black man dating a white woman, they lose their mind. So I don't care what they doing. But I did enjoy this episode, man. I love these topics, and as always, man, please go check out the fellas. Go check everybody out. Chris, where can they find you?
Citizen at substack.com.
And go read his stuff, man. The man can write his ass off. Torin, where can they find you, brother?
X, Torin Walker, also torinwalker.com, torinwalker.substack.com. Stay tuned to the Black Men's Studies sessions every week, me and Dr. Tommy Kirk.
Man, and hopefully we'll see Chris on there soon, and I'm gonna keep supporting. Y'all can find me on X at @CCole3, @CCOLEII, and I'm on Substack as well. All of our Substack is down there. That's at Dr. Charles Cole III. We all write, we all do work, but here's the thing: we should be able to have these type of conversations. Be intelligent black people that disagree at times, but we got a lot of love for each other. We got to start changing this tide, man. This has been 3 the Hard Way, and we will see you all next time. Peace. God bless.